listening to the best of inspirational music and conversation radio. Brand new day with Emily Blue, right here on We Talk Radio. I am your host, Emily Blue, here with co-host DeAnn Lax. Thank you for joining us. Whether it's the beginning or end of your day personally, we want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy as we inspire and uplift your lives. We are going to do everything in our power by continuing this year with being intentional in every facet of our lives.
1 Peter 1:18 through 19 says, "You know that in the past you were living in a worthless way. You got that way of living from the people who lived before you. But you were saved from that useless life. You were bought, but not with something that ruins like gold or silver. You were bought with the precious blood of the death of Christ, who was like a pure and perfect lamb." Look, I'm here to tell you, don't give up on yourself. Sometimes we might see people out here and we think, oh man, they got to be better than me. Oh, they can do that better than I can. Or I just can't accomplish this task. It's too hard. But there is nothing, you hear me? Nothing too hard for our God. So on those days when you are down in the dumps and you want to be hard on yourself and you think that there's no way I can accomplish this task or this goal, there's somebody out here who can do it way better than I can. Yeah, okay, while that might be the case, don't forget who you serve. Philippians 4:13 says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Always remember that, okay? No matter how tough it is, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what you're having to go through, whatever the goal is that you have to accomplish, work hard, work steadfast, work as if you're working for the Lord, but don't give up on you. God lives in and through you. And if you consider him to be as magnificent as I do, then know that what he's working on through you, oh my goodness, it's a masterpiece. Hey, don't give up on you, all right?
St. Mark 2:22 declares, "And no one put new wine into old wineskins, or else the new wine bursts the wineskins, and the wine is spilled, and the wineskins are ruined. But new wine must be put into new wineskins." I want to encourage you today to walk in the new. Now, when the pandemic hit in 2020, all of us had to find a new way of being, a new way of doing things. We released those things that were not serving us and untied ourselves from all of the things that we were holding on and that we were done with. But now we are seemingly getting back into what's considered to be normal. Many of us are going backwards instead of forward. I get it. I understand. I get it. Trust me, I do. I have been falling into the old patterns as well. But this weekend, I had a wake-up call. The reset button was hit for a reason, everyone. We cannot take what worked in pre-pandemic times into our current status. We have to adjust ourselves and realize that where we are now has positioned for where we're going, not where we were. So let's work vigorously to move and walk into the power of the new and leave the old and the past behind.
Hey, fearless families, I'm so glad to be with you this evening, and we're going to jump right into the topic. And this one, it might hit you because when you were little, you might have said this. My kids don't use these exact words, but they kind of touch on it a little every now and then. I got my kid in the car right now. She's listening and she's like, yeah, well, the olden days. That's what we're going to talk about. I remember when my parents would say things about when they were growing up or things that they wanted me to take heed to, and it'd be like, oh, that was back in the olden days. How many times have you heard your kids kind of say that, or kids that you're around kind of touch on the fact that, hey, you're older than me? Well, yeah, I am. And Romans 15:4 says that everything that was written in the past was written to teach us so that we could have hope. That hope comes from the patience and encouragement that the scriptures give us. So yes, in the Bible, we have a lot of great history. We have a lot of great people to reflect on that God has given us in his word. And there's a lot of things that we have had happen in our most recent history that we can reflect on and that we know God has brought us through. Last week I talked about my son and how, had some parenting blocks that kind of got in the way. But last week he went on a civil rights trip and he learned a lot. I mean, yesterday he came home and he just told us so much about what he learned, and some things I could tell he was near tears about. And yes, there is a sad part of our history that we all need to learn. As a matter of fact, after our daughter goes on the trip, I think that our whole family might take this trip because we need to see this. We need to see what our people have been through. But those things that our people have been through, those are the things that now we can say that's how God brought us over. Oh my goodness, the stories he told me, I might have to share that on another day. But we have so much legacy, so much to be proud of because we have been resilient throughout the years. And I just want y'all to understand that, yeah, that was the olden days. But now, hey, God is taking us into a future that belongs to him. This world has always belonged to him. The olden days, now, the future, all of that belongs to him. So let's put down the thought that, hey, that doesn't affect me. That was in the past. That was history. Yeah, it affects you because everything repeats itself. But those olden days, hey, let's look at them for what they are worth. They're more valuable than gold. The scriptures, what we've been through, what God has taken us through, it's more valuable than gold, people.
I want to encourage you to let go. I was reading different resources online about stress, and I came across something that I thought was really interesting from the American Institute of Stress regarding Stress Awareness Month. So here's what I found. Of course, we all know that Stress Awareness Month is during the month of April, and it has been recognized as such since 1992. But for the last few years, it's been particularly important for us to really hone in and talk about stress awareness. Learning to cope with our stress and finding healthy ways to deal with these situations can go a long way in living a healthy and positive life. We all experience stress, yet we may experience it in very different ways. And because of this, there is no single definition for stress, but the most common explanation is a physical, mental, or emotional strain or tension. Stress is a reaction to a situation where we feel anxious or threatened. And then when we learn to healthily cope with it and get the proper care and support, we can reduce stressful feelings and symptoms. So here are some common reactions to a stressful event. Disbelief, shock, and numbness. Feeling sad, frustrated, helpless. Difficulty concentrating and making decisions. Headaches, backaches, and stomach problems. And stress can affect more than your mind. Long-term stress can prove to be more than a mental issue, from headaches to stomach disorders to depression. Even serious issues like stroke and heart disease can come as a result of stress. So we want to be very, very careful. When you're placed in a stressful situation, specific stress hormones rush into your bloodstream, leading to an increase in heart rate, blood pressure, and glucose levels. This is helpful in emergency situations, but